Military members, what are the best insults you can remember your drill instructor using in boot camp? So, to set the stage, I had a 6'2" angry, mean, funny as hell drill sergeant in 258 in BCT at Benning. He had a special love for me, but not the way you're thinking, lol. There is no winning in infantry basic training. There are no tips that can save you. Be invisible, you will get smoked because of somebody else being stupid. Be strong, get singled out for leadership positions, then crushed when your weakest can't hack it in your squad or platoon. Be funny, every time that drill sergeant gets bored, you will be forced to quote-unquote entertain them. There is no winning, there's only pain. Take it like a man or get crushed even harder. My personal strategy was just to be as good-natured and funny as I could be when receiving my daily doses of corrective or motivational platoon training. Unfortunately, I became a pet project for one of the drill sergeants because of this. Every time he would crush me, I would thank him and let him know that I knew deep down in his cold heart that he was doing it because he loved and cared about me as a soldier and wanted me to be all I can be. He corrected me, of course, letting me know that he did it, in fact, because he freaking hated me and wanted me to be gone. But because he could not physically end me, he wanted me to pass from a training accident of some sort. Of course, he was joking. He crushed me like it was his full-time job, over and over and over again. He would pick me out, make me do skits, just to entertain everybody, etc., then crush me some more. He had a myriad of games he liked to play, but by far his best joke ever on me was during our FTX. I was in a foxhole in some godforsaken ant-infested part of Fort Benning when some broke jerk private from the profile crew came down and was freaking out. "What? Get up to the DSGT hooch right away, you have a Red Cross message from your family." The only reason you get those is if somebody passed. I freaked out, grabbed my stuff, and ran full blast like 400 meters to the drill sergeant hooch. I was exhausted, destroyed, stressed, and on the verge of freaking out. Drill sergeant saw me and told me to come to him. He wasn't yelling, he wasn't smiling. This was not good. He was being nice to me. He said, "I'm sorry, Watt, nobody deserves to get news like this." And he handed me an envelope. I opened it, and inside was a folded piece of paper. I unfolded it and read the message. "Do 50 push-ups. P.S. I hate you, Drill Sergeant X. I was so happy my family wasn't gone. I didn't care. Good times." Okay, that one is a good one. It's a good one, Drill Sergeant. I do 5,000 push-ups to save a life. Story 2. Not insults exactly, but amusing punishment-related stories for the most part. Last one was funny. Paris Island, SC 2003. Marching in formation, drill instructor for probably no reason other than his own amusement and to see who he could make laugh, yells my name while holding a pine cone, throws it and screams, "Grenade, save the others!" Jumped, belly flopped onto the pine cone on asphalt, painful but funny enough that everyone was just told to lock it up when they started laughing. In formation again, a car goes by with a fellow DI that's friends with mine. They beep, I wave, it was not unnoticed, had a fun time in the sandpit. I was only about 3 weeks from the end of boot camp. You'd think I'd have known better at this point. Saw a female drill instructor who looked really pretty. Anything starts to look amazing after that long. Got caught checking her out. The whole formation was made to stop while I was instructed to go and ask her out on a date. Back to the sandpit I went. Come to find out later, she thought it was one of the funniest things ever and actually felt a little bad about punishing me. Just got back from the Crucible. Imagine final exams for the United States Marine Corps boot camp. Going to get our haircuts. First high and tight, we've earned it finally. We put the little paper towel in our collar while in line. The barber uses it to wipe your head off when you finish with your haircut. DIs are pretty lax, letting us BS a little because we've pretty much made it. So after finishing the march back, huge breakfast, it was a good day. One quiet moment, he turns to the other DI and goes, "Look at them. They finished the Crucible. Now they're getting their first high and tight. Those little paper towels look like little capes too. They're super recruits, gonna fly all over the island, save recruits everywhere." He said this in a very pondering the meaning of life tone of voice while the other DI damn near fell down laughing with the rest of us. Story 3. Some trainee left a piece of paper in the pocket of one of his pants and a TI found it during a locker inspection. He made him do flutter kicks and sing "I'm Dreaming of a White Christmas" while the TI tore up the paper and sprinkled the remains over him like snow. Another sadder story, not a really good insult, but basically this kid went and told a TI that he was going to end himself. The kid decided he didn't want to be there anymore. He wasn't actually going to, we all knew this. So the TI is making him clean out his locker so they can take him to medical and get him evaluated. And it's just crazy silent in the bay as we're all either practicing taking apart and putting our weapons back together, or folding clothes for the next inspection. I guess the guy had a bottle of prescription pills for something and the TI sees it and loses his stuff and starts screaming about how if he was actually going to do it, he would have already swallowed that bottle and offed himself. I've never seen someone look so ashamed as that guy. Well, when it comes to times of war, you either gotta go for it or give up. Being all wishy-washy about things can get somebody killed that doesn't actually want or claim to want to die, you know? Story 4. Wasn't in boot camp, but in buds, the instructors were intentionally effective in degrading you as people with ways more effective than profanity and yelling. I remember when people screw up doing something retarded and the instructor asking them quite seriously if they were an ASVAB waiver. Basically meaning they are not smart enough to be in this school, but someone got them a waiver to allow it. Another favor of that was when we were on a run one time, probably several mile soft sand run in full gear if I remember right. They were hoisting that damn bell in the back of the truck and all of them had some chant about how we didn't see this in the Discovery Channel video, as they were making us hit the surf during the run. However, as rough as that was a true testament as to how real these guys were and as big of jerks as they were, they truly had the best intentions. Was one day we were on the pool deck, could not even hold our heads up straight. One of the instructors, I'm assuming for his own curiosity, starts asking why we want to be a Navy SEAL. Everyone has their own answer, from this is something I feel I need to do to I want to serve my country. All these are pretty legitimate answers. However, the kid next to me, might have been 2 down, it was several years ago, replies, I was affected by 2 people from an incident. The instructor looks at him and gives him a somewhat sarcastic response, which, given the circumstances, was typical. He said, and I'm paraphrasing, what your second cousin twice removes friends and his unknown fiancée he had been dating for a while. The kid looked him dead in the eye. At this point, I did one of those turn your head several degrees and crank your eyes to see what's going on without trying to break attention. Anyways, the kid says, negative instructor, both of my parents. At this point, I had never seen one of these instructors taken aback. He made a point to be to those who heard and were watching. He grabbed the kid harshly but respectfully and said, kid, you better frickin' make it. And that was it. No special treatment, no apology, just those words, and it has resonated with me to this day. Story 5. Here's a few. First, there's a guy who broke down one day, just in tears, so naturally he's fresh meat here. Petty Officer Smith walks up to him, puts a comforting hand on him and asks, hey, you okay? He motions to the other instructor and says, hey Petty Officer, can you get this recruit a nice cup of suck it the heck up? He's not in Kansas anymore, this crap is real. Second, after being stuck on base for nearly a month and a half and walking through a swamp up to our chest, how does it feel to finally get your willies wet? Third, not a direct insult, but funny regardless, when they were inspecting our lockers, one trainee was found to have skid marks. He was told to take a few laps around the bay, walking and saying, I got skid marks, scree, and stopping repeatedly. Fourth, roughly translated, you make me believe in reincarnation because no one could become that stupid in one lifetime. Fifth, you're more messed up than a left-handed football bat. Sixth, a recruit was caught singing while cleaning when the DI came in. Made him stand in his locker and sing Achy Breaky Heart. Whenever he would stop, the DI would drop a coin in the vent and he would have to start again. Seventh, to an overweight recruit jogging past our platoon, God forbid you run any faster, otherwise those hot dogs in the back of your neck might fall off. And finally, eighth, after a run, my instructor told me to stop frickin' breathing so hard because I was stealing air from the rest of society. Oof, that last one, yes, which causes uncontrollable laughter and further breathing. Hey, are you liking these stories so far? Please don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. It really does help me out. Story 6. I got a couple, one on topic and one randomly funny thing that happened in BMT. Week 1, when we were being told how to stand at parade rest, your feet are supposed to be 12 inches apart, measured at the inside of your heels, with your toes turned 45 degrees outward. When the screw-up in the flight had his feet too close together, about 6 inches, the MTI came up and said, damn, trainee, if she's telling you that's 12 inches, she's frickin' lying. When we went for chow, sometimes we'd get pulled from the line and grilled on our study questions. God, you had to memorize things like the chain of command, rank insignia, correct uniform wear, etc. One guy was really good. He had the whole thing memorized front to back on the first day. The MTIs tried, but they couldn't fault him, so my MTI asked him, all right, smart guy, what's the rank insignia of Captain Crunch? Sir, the rank insignia of Captain Crunch is 2 crunch berries connected. The MTI started cracking a smile, then serioused the heck up real quick and screamed, get out of my face, trainee. A little later, I heard the MTI chatting with a couple of others about the incident, and they were all laughing. I just remembered one. On your face, forward march. Yep, and just remembered another one. When some trainee in my flight was having trouble zipping something up, the MTI noticed. Trainee so-and-so, why are you having so much difficulty? Why? Why? It is a zipper, an ordinary zipper. Why is it kicking your bum? Story 7. In basic, my senior drill sergeant looked like Bill Murray and sounded like R. Lee Ermey. It was incredible watching this guy work sometimes. So one day, we were out on a field training exercise and this one private, who was kind of a know-it-all, does something stupid and the following exchange happens. DS, Private, why don't you get down and do some push-ups? Private drops and proceeds to do 2 push-ups. Permission to recover, Drill Sergeant. DS, what the heck? Private, you said do some push-ups, Drill Sergeant. DS turns red. Why you smug little, you're gonna stay down there and push until your feeble frickin' arms shove the earth off its axis and sends us spiraling into the frickin' sun, ending us all. Yeah, boot camp stories. Another one, well, we had something called a fire watch. Basically, when everyone is sleeping, you have 2 people fully dressed in camis at either end of the hallways holding flashlights, making sure some crazy person doesn't end himself or make sure the other recruits don't rough someone up. One of our drill instructors switched places with one of the recruits that night on fire watch. 2 guys were talking, when we shouldn't be because the lights are off. The DI asked hey, what you think of DI Adams? The 2 guys started talking all kinds of crap about him and what they would do if they were not recruits. D.I. Adams turned the flashlight around to his face and told them to get on the quarterdeck, which for Marines basically means we are about to get initiated for an hour. I saw all of this from atop my bunk. Alright, so you gotta give it to that private though. He wasn't necessarily wrong. Quote unquote, some, at the very least, is 2, and he did his 2. And then he got some more, so yeah, being a smartass at boot camp, not a fun thing. Story 8. I remember one time we were all standing in the squad bay and someone on the upper levels must have thrown some unlucky recruit stuff out of the window because we saw a bag of stuff hit the deck outside. One of the recruits thought this was worth bringing to the attention of a drill instructor and he says, "Sir, this recruit just saw an a-hole fall from the second deck, sir." And the DI says, "By a-hole, do you mean recruit?" I almost burst out laughing, but I made it sound like I was trying to keep myself from sneezing. When the DI asked what that sound was, I told him, "Sir, this recruit was trying to keep himself from sneezing, sir." And I'm pretty sure he knew I was trying to keep from laughing, but he didn't quarterdeck me because I had enough sense to not say I was laughing, because there is nothing remotely funny about recruit training. Another one, Army basic training, grenade training. While running from one obstacle to the other, one of my drills tossed a training grenade at me and screamed, "Grenade, what do you do, Private?" I yelled, "Grenade," and dove on it. After the cap inside popped and tore a chunk out of my flak vest, he just kind of stood there for a second, then said, "Well, I guess that's one way to deal with it. You'll get a chow hall named after you." Story 9. The drill sergeant would tell us when we failed to complete a task, "It's not that damn difficult, Private. It's not like I asked to eat a bushel of apples and crap a fruit salad." Definitely my favorite. Truthfully, there wasn't a lot of originality in their insults. There were all sort of generic insults that they had either copied from R. Lee Ermey in Full Metal Jacket. One of them actually had a pull-string doll of Ermey that he thought was the best thing since the formation of the US, or had heard repeated ad nauseum from other RDCs. "You look like a soup sandwich," "You look like a bag of squashed a-holes," etc. The best thing I saw happen in boot was this kid that was trying to get kicked out and completely wet his pants in front of a lieutenant during dress inspection. The lieutenant just said, "Well, goddamn son," and walked away. Still makes us laugh. Lastly, I have a large scar that goes across my scalp and the side of my head from childhood surgeries. During my time at Parris Island, Marine Corps boot camp, a drill instructor asked me if I cut my hair with a lawnmower. Another drill instructor's response was, "Nope, recruit-friendly sociopath was attacked by a shark." From that day on, I was always known as insert rank shark bait. Story 10. Here's a few stories from me and my buddies. During boot camp, our DI would look out of the windows so he could mess with recruits walking by. My all-time favorite was when he stopped this tiny Asian kid walking on his way to medical. "Hey, you there, stop right the hell there." "Aye, sir." "What's your name?" This recruit reports his name is blank. "Nah, screw that. That's not a good name for my new Pokemon. Your name is Pikachu." "Aye, sir." "Oh, hell no. Pikachu does not speak English. What the heck is wrong with you?" "Pika Pika." "Yeah, that's right. Ah, crap. I need to find you a Pokeball to live in." At this point, he grabs a water bowl off a rack, throws it out from our third-story squad bay onto the kid's head. "Pikachu, get the hell in your Pokeball." "Pika Pika." The kid was on the ground trying to fit himself into the water bowl for a good 2 minutes before he let him leave. We were all laughing. Sadly, he became our DI's favorite punching bag. He even made a Pokeball out of medical tape, painted it with dry erase board markers and everything. Anytime he walked by, he would throw it as hard as he could at him and make him act like a Pikachu. Army job training, AIT in Texas, a soldier was caught having a cell phone when she wasn't allowed to. The drill sergeants assigned her one of those old, bulky rotary dial phones as part of her uniform. She had to have it with her 24/7. In addition, anytime she heard someone say, "ring, ring," she had to stop what she was doing, pick up the receiver, and put it to her ear and say, "Hello?" She had to do that for about 3 weeks. Those drill sergeants also had this magical ability to fold your frickin' mattress like origami and stuff it into your wall locker if you left your room unsecured. There was a guy in my company in basic who had really dark hair, dark eyebrows, and a very noticeable widow's peak. He sort of looked like the Count from Sesame Street. So when the drill sergeants made him do push-ups, they made him do a Count impersonation. 1 and a 2 and a 3. At Marine Boot Camp in San Diego, one day it decided to rain. Now, we were all in a school circle around our DI and he was giving us a hip pocket class on coyote hunting because he wanted to. Anyways, it begins to rain and he says in a low voice, it's raining. All of us recruits look outside and stare. He then shouts, "Oh, so we've never seen some frickin' rain before? Good, now you get to feel it. Form it up outside." It was not fun. The other one I heard from multiple people, it goes like this. Everyone is online and the DI comes out of the duty hut and says, "All recruits who have a mother step forward." Everyone steps forward. Then DI says, No, not you recruit schmuckatelli," and that's how we break bad news. Story 11. While cleaning rifles, I had to take a leak, so I stand up and shout, "Sir, this recruit requests permission to make an emergency head call." He replied with, "If it's an emergency, you better make siren noises." So I sprint off to the head screaming, "Wee woo, wee woo, wee woo." That same drill instructor a couple of weeks later walked up to me and a fellow recruit when we were in the chow hall eating, looks at the other recruit's tray and says, "What kind of cake is that?" The recruit looks up and says, "This recruit is not sure, sir." So the DI picks up my empty cup and slams it into the cake a few times, then drops the cup and says, "I guess it's a pound cake." Needless to say, he was my favorite. Last one, an airman looked up at an airplane passing by overhead while we were in formation. The TI noticed this and had a frickin' fit. Normally, at San Antonio, Texas, there aren't many planes flying overhead, but on that particular day, planes were flying around like crazy, so the drill instructor made him the honorary plane boy. Every time a plane flew by, he had to point at it while we were marching and yell, "Airplane, airplane, airplane," constantly throughout the day. Big ol' C5 flew by, "Airplane," but got interrupted by the TI, "Big airplane." So the airman kept saying, big airplane," while pointing up. So frickin' funny, man. We were all in tears trying not to laugh out loud. Good times, man, good times. Yes, pound cake, that's how you make one. That's also a good one, too. Especially the initial shock of it all would definitely surprise me, but followed up with that line, I'd chuckle a hell of a lot. At least he wasn't made to eat the rest of that pound cake, though. Well, if you like these stories, here's more. YouTube thinks you're going to love this one. I'll catch you in that video, and thank you for watching this one.